Prodigal son returns. Mo and prodigal son and daughter have come back home, and they come back bearing gifts.
Yeah.
And those are gifts of success, doing very, very well. And we are so proud of you. Mo and Phindi, welcome to Radio 2000.
Thank you so much.
It feels good.
It feels good.
To
It
be
really
back
feels
here.
good. I mean, these seats.
Yeah.
Right?
It really feels good.
Very
I'm
serious.
meeting you for the very first time,
Yes.
but you are part of the family because you were part of Radio 2000, educating and, making sure that marriages are strong, marriages
Yeah.
are together by
Yeah.
sharing, your personal experiences as
Yeah.
well as things that you have learned
Correct.
in order for you guys to come together. For
Yeah.
those people that are listening for the very first time and haven't had the pleasure of introducing or getting to know Mo and Phindi, talk to us about how long you've been married for and your love story briefly.
Briefly.
Yes.
We met 16 years ago,
Sure.
and a year later we got married, so we're 15 years married.
10 months.
Actually, it was 10 months. Phindi doesn't waste time.
She's like, hey,
Listen,
Dr. Yami,
guys.
Yeah,
When I say a good thing, I can recognize one.
Now, so,
you're
yeah.
so
what I mean?
kind.
Yeah.
You're so kind. So we've been married for 15 years. And 15 years later, 3 kids later, here we are.
Looking absolutely
Yay.
beautiful. I can feel the love from here. I
Yeah.
really, really can.
Thanks.
It's the month of love.
Yeah.
February
Yeah.
is all about celebrating love,
Yeah.
And I feel that it's unfair that we get to celebrate love but for one day,
No.
Yeah.
Love should be
No.
celebrated every
Every day.
single day. How do you celebrate your love?
Funny enough, we're not too much into Valentine.
No.
And I think because we try as much as possible to celebrate what we have every time we get,
Yeah.
every opportunity we get. So it's really, Valentine's for us is just a normal day.
Yeah.
Picking up kids from school.
And that's God's
you know,
honest truth. Like that.
dropping them in the morning, and well, in between we'll probably just sneak in a breakfast or a lunch and all of that. But we do that.
Like
in
on a
other
regular,
times. So
but it's never something
it's
that
not
is
like,
planned.
you know?
What are we doing this Valentine's or anything? No, we never.
Yeah.
Even
know,
though
because-
Phindi a little bit will try and insist and say,
Yeah, well,
it would be
of
nice.
course.
Yeah.
But I think I've gotten used to the kind of men that I'm married to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why I force Valentine on different days.
Yeah.
So
a lot
that-
of things
so that I make
really
up.
foster me though.
Yes.
I'm not an occasions type person, right? Because of the way I grew up, I never. My background is very sad. You know what I mean? And I never celebrated birthday ever in my life. At matric, I was a top student at school. I was there by myself to accept the prizes and all of that.
Sure.
Events, and if I left I'm from PE. If I left PE to come to Joburg for whatever, or to go wherever, city to city or whatever bus, right? And then when I come back home, no one is waiting for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have to see how I get home.
Yeah.
My point is, I've never been an occasions, and events
Yeah.
type person.
Yeah.
Phindi instilled that in me.
Oh, wow.
I only really for the first time got to celebrate birthdays when I got married to Phindi.
Wow.
15 years ago.
But it seems I haven't won because with Valentine I'm still.
No,
I'm
you
still
won with
trying
birthdays.
to warm my way in.
You mustn't go to a men's conference on the 14th. There's
No.
a men's conference going on.
Yeah, you don't get.
You speak about your background
Yeah.
and how you grew up, and I'm sure Phindi also comes from a different background.
Totally.
Falling in love means that it's those backgrounds,
Yeah.
good and bad,
Yeah.
Yeah.
coming together
Yeah.
in the name of love, right? And that's why we need to perfect this thing called the marriage dance.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what we're talking about
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
What is the marriage dance?
Maybe before we get into the marriage dance, let me talk about the fact that my parents were divorced
Sure.
when I was 10. And I think You know, when Mo speaks about his background, which is not very, very perfect, you know, though I grew up with both my parents, but at some point, you know, at the age of 10, my parents got divorced. And sometimes when you are into what we do, people kind of assume you probably have a good, you know, you had great examples around you. Your parents were married for a number of years. For us, it was a decision that we took. His parents never been married. My ones having been married but divorced when I was still very young. Yeah, but still we decided our future. You know, we decided that even though our backgrounds are the way that they were, we're not going to allow our future to be the same. So we made a decision for us to have a different future, which is what we are doing
building
now.
what we're building. You see,
But
speaking about the marriage dance, and I want to link what Phindi is saying to the issue at hand. In dance, you don't do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm talking about partner dance.
Yeah.
You don't do. Your steps will be different, even though you'll be dancing to the same cue. And that's what happens in us. That's what happens in marriage in generally. We all come from different backgrounds, but we all want to dance for the same cue.
Yeah.
And the trick with it is not to step on each other's toes. The trick with it is not to kick one another, not to trip one another. And so the trick is to be in sync and find your rhythm, find your harmony. So that if she puts a left foot forward, I have to learn not to put my right foot. Together is because we're gonna kick one another.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
so when we put being in sync means that it means you allow her to be her, she allows me to be me. You know, and together you build
make this
beautiful thing, and that's what partner does. That's what marriage dance is.
0891102000. I'm sure you have lots and lots of questions for Mo and Phindi. They are here. The platform is open for you to do so. 0891102000. We're going to go for a quick break. When we come back, I want to ask them about the role of culture that plays into this dance that we're talking about, because we all grew up being taught that, you know, as a wife, you do this. As a husband, you do this. We all have these cultural expectations that we bring into this marriage dance. How do we incorporate our background, our upbringing? Should we leave some stuff behind? Should we take everything in? We're going to talk about that and more after this quick.